Hey everybody, another update. Let's go through some things which are new developments in the garden, and I'm very excited about it. What I'd like to do actually is make another video. Not sure exactly if I'm going to do that on Facebook Live next time. I might start a YouTube channel, and if I do, then I'd like to talk more about the chemical constituents of the vegetables and the fruits of which I'm growing and how it benefits our bodies, how it benefits our health, and I'm really excited about that. So let's see, let me turn this around and let's go through what's in the garden. So my cabbage is starting to grow. This one is not so happy, not sure why. But the others are growing, and as you could see, something is taking little niblets off my leaf. So I'm spraying this with what's called BT. If you followed my videos, the BT is the safe bacteria for humans, but will let the insect or whatever it is that's nibbling on it know that it's full and it won't eat again, so it'll leave your plant alone. This is my surprise Swiss chard, and it's growing very beautifully. It's actually part of the Brassica family. So the cabbage and the Swiss chard are all part of the Brassica family, which is basically broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, cabbage, Swiss chard, and a couple of others which I can't think off the top of my head. Here we go with our very luscious basil plant. Very happy with this. In order for me to keep it luscious like this with the leaves, I have to do what's called deadhead, consistently deadhead these tops. And that's because this area, the energy is trying to make it seed. It becomes a flower and then it seeds. Then what, like if you can see a little bit here how this is trying to become seed. Nothing wrong with that. It's just that if you already have seeds or you don't want seeds and you want to make more basil, then it's recommended to deadhead these areas. Here's another one where it's getting a little bit thicker in its stalk. It's not exactly, there we go. And underneath there, you should see little pods of seeds. So what I do is take that out. And if I want more seeds, then what I do is I go to this area in the back, and as you could see, sometimes these are a little bit longer. Oh, there's a good one over there. There's a flower, that white flower right in the bottom or in the middle. And when you see that, that's when it's going to go to seed. So the majority of this I don't want going to seed. I do have a lot of seeds, a lot of basil seeds. And so here we go again, some flowers. And those are good for our beneficial pollinators like bees. And they travel from plant to plant and pollinating the garden. So that part is pretty cool. So I'll deadhead the rest of that later. And my tomatoes are coming to fruition. This one I staked up, which was a really good idea because then now I have more aeration. And these tomatoes are coming out very nicely. They're actually the beef tomatoes. And usually the beef tomatoes I don't have much success with, but when I stake this up, it looks like the aeration is really helping. The flowers have really bloomed. Again, following my videos, I've complained in the beginning how my flowers just aren't growing, and now look, they just took over. So there are my marigolds, and here are my nasturtium, and both are very good with helping tomatoes ward away pests so that you can have a successful growth in your tomato harvest. Over here, I started a whole new sowing plan, and over here is where I have my baby carrots, if you can see them, amongst the the purslane, and some baby beets. And those are some parsnips or turnips. I can't remember right now. And then here's more cabbage. Again, spraying them with BT. If you see little holes like this being dug, some animal is in my garden, and I think it's the chipmunk or the rabbit. And it's just kind of looking for, or the squirrel, one of those. This is my tomato plant. I planted about 4 of these, and this is the only one that survived. And these are 2 dill. So, here are new plants, broccoli, or rather broccolini raba, I believe it's called, broccolini raba. So these also are part of the family, the brassica family. Over here are even more little babies, and those are also brassicas. They're also the broccolini rab. What I did here was do outdoor sowing. This was indoor sowing, so it's a little bit bigger and a little bit more sturdier, and the stem is more stable. So I'm hoping to get broccoli and broccolini rab. And this area right here, I'm hoping to put under my greenhouse. If I have a greenhouse here, I might be able to complete the whole winter garden challenge, which is really exciting. I just want to bring you to one more place before I show you the harvest that I was able to collect in the morning in the cool of the day. I love that terminology, in the cool of the day. It's very much biblical. It's when God walked with Adam in the Garden of Eden in the cool of the day. And so here are the corn, and I already harvested 3 of the corn. They were too early, so one of them was actually half, the bottom half was wonderfully plump, and the top half was kind of still not ready. But then I talked with my husband about it, and he said, you know, back home they used to eat the corn in that fashion where it was more sturdy and not so plump and juicy. So I said, okay, well, let me boil them and just see how it turns out. So what I'll do is those tassels up there, I'm gonna grab a few that are kind of hanging down and try to self-fertilize these areas right here. I know they're brown, but underneath they're very nice. They're nice silks. And I think what I need to do is hand pollinate, because that's really high up there. And the wind is carrying them probably all over the place, because the wind doesn't necessarily blow the wind downward, it blows it across. So we're probably not getting the right fertilization, so I probably have to do that on my own. What I'm interested in showing also is this bed where, if you remember in the beginning, I was kind of like doing my little sad and sob story because I thought there wasn't going to be any squash, but eventually the squash did grow. I harvested that, and I'll be showing you the results of that harvest, which I'm so happy about. I'm noticing that this bed is crawling all the way up to the back of my garden. As you can see, it's just hello. Yeah, that's all from that plant. And so I found some new baby butternut squash. That's still green, so it's not ready just yet. And I harvested the rest, and I think there's another baby squash here. So there it is. There's another baby squash here. There it is. So, I've shown a lot of my garden in terms of gardening in and of itself. So just gardening. But as I said before, I'm a huge advocate for the garden to table or farm to table concept. And so all these things here, which I'm growing, I just absolutely love. because they're filled, just chock load filled with chemical constituents, which are natural, which are beneficial for our health. You know, we are fearfully and wonderfully made and created in God's image, and the fact that we are able to get these kinds of nourishments is a blessing. It's a beautiful thing. So what I want to show are the things of which I've been able to collect in our garden, and so here we go. So here are lots of tomatoes, which I have been harvesting for many days now. Lots of the Marzano tomatoes. Our cucumber, I think this is like the last of the last before I was able to actually pull them. I like to cut this up and put this in yogurt and make Armenian pan, where we get the dill, cut up the dill, cut up the cucumbers, put some salt, and put them in water and in yogurt, and it just tastes so refreshing. It has the salt in it to give you that boost, as well as the juice of the water and the yogurt. What I use is Greek, strained Greek yogurt. And this is the tomatillo, which is different from the tomato, but they're all in the same family. Now, the tomatoes, these red tomatoes, there is this wonderful article in Food Science, which I want to show you all in a link of which I can add. Hopefully they'll let me add in Facebook. For those of you science nerds who love to gather the information from what is in just a tomato. It's basically filled with lycopene, vitamins like A and C, D and E, and I believe K. There's also minerals in the tomatoes, all kinds of minerals like calcium and sodium, and even iron, little bits of iron, little bits of sulfur, and just enough minerals to help us with nourishing our bodies. Just a tomato in and of itself. Imagine when you get that with salad. Now, I understand that there are some individuals with certain diagnoses where they can't eat tomatoes. And I understand that. There's definitely individuals who suffer from reflux disease and even rheumatic disease illnesses like arthritis, where the tomatoes just seem to exacerbate their symptoms and they just cannot have tomatoes, and that's completely understandable. This is not to force that on individuals who suffer from such things, but please recognize that these are foods that can go straight from our garden or from the farm, go straight to our table, and we can gain the nourishment from these wonderful things called the tomato. And here I have a pumpkin. Another pumpkin. I have a different kind of squash. I think this is the summer squash. And I also, from that bed that I just showed you, this I believe is called the butternut squash. So I have several butternut squash, which I just showed you from that bed that I just pulled from. And I have 3 little babies growing right now, little ones that I'm hoping will go to fruition. So butternut squash, summer squash, pumpkin. I have another pumpkin in the bed behind me, a small one. But what I'm hoping to do is make what's called rapama. Oh, Dr. Sos! Dr. Sos in clear Armenian. Hello, 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 Dr. Sos. How are you doing? Dr. Sos is watching from UK, if I'm not mistaken. You can correct me if I'm wrong. But I met him in church, and he has a most wonderful voice. A wonderful, if I'm not mistaken, I believe you're baritone. You might be bass, I'm not sure, but I just loved listening to his voice in church when I visited my family in London. So thanks, Dr. Sos. Appreciate all the likes. So I hope you like this video. What I also will try to share in my Facebook post is the food science of pumpkins, the flesh, the skin, the seeds, I'm hoping. Oh, what did Dr. Sos say? Oh, correct. That's a lot, my friend. Yes, yes. Thank you, Dr. Sos, for sharing your beautiful voice with the world. And so the squash. What I'm going to do is hopefully share the food science article on what the chemical constituents are in squash alone, even squash and pumpkin. And there is tons of vitamins, carotene, minerals like calcium, manganese, magnesium, and they're all so beneficial for us. And I saw this one video where a couple went to Armenia, and they showed in a restaurant, they showed rapama. So they showed the traditional way of preparing the rapama, which is with pumpkin. They take out the inside seeds and they fill this with walnuts and different kinds of nuts and dried fruit and honey, and it's just absolutely delicious. They put the top back on, they put it in the oven, and it just breaks down when they cut it. It just so the flesh along with what's inside it. You know, Armenians are pretty good with stuffing things. So there's dolmas and different kinds of sarmas, and rapama is kind of like something like this, Monty. And so this couple showed us a restaurant where they took a butternut squash and they kind of, through the tradition of how rapama is used, they used the butternut squash and they did the same thing, except they filled it with turkey meat, like ground turkey meat. I believe it was onion, garlic, and a couple of other vegetables. And they just said it just, the way they were commenting on how it tasted was absolutely wonderful. So again, the concept of garden to table or farm to table is something I'm a strong advocate about. You just make sure you have to wash these very, very thoroughly. Make sure that they are nice and clean before you prepare them. And there you go. I'm hoping that I'm able to create some sort of channel, whether it's a YouTube channel or something where I share the things of which I've studied through integrative medicine, through just experience in life itself, how it's helped my family, how it's helped me, and just share the way food can be used to help us and make us healthy, and something of which is our blessings to us. Those are all blessings for us to incorporate those into our nutritional plan. So I love this concept of farm to table. I think it's yummy goodness, and I'm just praying that I can share all this yummy goodness with you all. And one of my favorite quotes from the Bible is, may the Lord bless you, and may the Lord shine his face upon you and grant you peace. It's from Numbers, and the book of Numbers, and I truly bless you all with that wonderful saying from the Bible. And I hope to see you soon, and I pray much blessings for you all, and may your day be filled with yummy goodness. Bye-bye.